It's Monday, the 24th of June, 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's go. Story number 1, the share price of some of Australia's biggest retail brands they've had a great run, really, over the last year, despite the cost of living crisis. But there are a few doubts now about whether it can last.
Yeah, look, the tech stocks have done best, but otherwise, you're really looking at the financials and consumer discretionary stocks. The consumer discretionary stocks include most of the retailers. JB Hi-Fi share price is up 50% over the past year. So too Premier Investments, that owns Peter Alexander, Smiggles, a bunch of other retailers. Breville Group, you can throw into that. Harvey Norman's up 40%. Wesfarmers has done really well also. That's because it owns Bunnings. Some of the smaller companies have done even better. Temple & Webster, Universal Store, their share prices have more than doubled. Beacon Lighting and Lovisa are both up more than 80%. Nick Scali's up 65%. Can it last? Well, late last week, 2 retailers, albeit poorly performing retailers over the last year, warned of tough times. Mosaic Brands, which owns Autograph, Nonny B, Rockmans, Rivers and Millers, said it expects a loss this financial year. It blamed inventory and logistical problems. Then KMD Brands, owner of Kathmandu and Ripcall, also warned of weaker sales. A couple of weeks ago, we've had Babcorp, we had Baby Bunting. They've downgraded earnings. Just looks like some of the retailers are struggling a little bit at the moment, Michael.
Yeah, it does. Is the best over then for the retail stocks?
Potentially. If you're going to invest in a retail stock, ask a financial planner. We're not an investment podcast. But if you look at the stock prices of discretionary retailers generally, did really well till March, then fell, picked up again, all about interest rates. That's what's dominating sentiment towards them. As we head to the end of the financial year, it's very possible we're going to see more downgrades from some of the retailers who rely heavily on people logging in or walking into the store and spending money. If we do, comes after a very strong run for many of the retail stocks.
All right, moving on to story number 2 now, Sean. And the coalition's nuclear plan could cost up to $600 billion, yet only supply a small portion of Australia's energy mix by 2050.
That's according to the Smart Energy Council, while the CSIRO has forecast that building 7 reactors would cost $116 billion. The Smart Energy Council said that could balloon to $600 billion based on budget and timeline blowouts, the cost of refurbishing coal-fired power stations and compensating state governments. The nuclear debate is taking much of the spotlight at the moment. Yesterday, opposition energy spokesperson Ted O'Brien conceded the government wouldn't know all the details of its energy proposal by the time we hit the next federal election. And former Prime Minister Paul Keating gave his 2 cents worth, always colourful, writing of Peter Dutton, and I quote, "Only the most wicked and cynical of individuals would foist such a blight on an earnest community like Australia." He then called Mr. Dutton a charlatan and a climate change denialist.
All right, story number 3. We are closing in, Sean, on the end of the financial year, and it looks like superannuation funds will return a very healthy 9%.
That's the figure for the median growth fund, with 61 to 80% in growth assets, stuff like equities. Over the month of May, the median growth fund expanded by just under 1%. Fiscal 2024 will undoubtedly be the 13th positive return in 15 years, according to Chant West. Given the uncertainty around inflation and interest rates, the geopolitical climate, 9%, pretty good result, thanks in large part to those big tech stocks on Wall Street. Since the introduction of compulsory super, the median growth fund has returned 7.9%. Even if you look over the last 20 years, where there's been 3 major share market downturns, the GFC in 2007-8, COVID-19, and the high inflation rising interest rates of 2022, super funds have returned 7.3% per annum. Well worth the investment.
Yeah, indeed. Story number 4, the northern summer is upon us and many Australians are gearing up to travel to Europe if they haven't already left. New data, though this is interesting, shows that among the major countries, Italy is where Australians are most likely to have insurance claims.
Medibank data shows that customers made more claims in Italy than the UK, Greece, France or Spain, with the most common issues related to medical episodes, hospital stays and stolen or lost luggage and personal effects. Department of Foreign Trade statistics show Italy was also where more Australian passports went astray than anywhere else in the world, according to a story in The Australian. According to Medibank, its 2 highest travel insurance claims made by Australians in Europe last year were in Italy, one for $67,000, one for $42,000. Don't know what they were claiming. Average claim is about $1,500. Italy's a bit of a hotspot for Aussie tourists, of course. Last northern summer, 131,000 Aussies made visits to Italy.
Okay, last one. Story number 5, Sean. I'll be interested to see what you think of this. One of the greatest short distance runners ever, US Olympic champion Michael Johnson, wants to revolutionise athletics, and he's unveiled a new competition to elevate elite athletes and the whole athletics competition.
It's called Grand Slam Track, and it's scheduled to start next year. There'll be 4 Grand Slams, 2 in the US, 2 outside the US. It'll be backed by $30 million of commitments from investors. Johnson told the Financial Times that the competition was built for today's audience, and each athlete will compete twice at each slam event. Already, some Olympic athletes have said they'll join the group. Under the proposal, there'll be 48 paid races, 48 challenges. World Athletics earlier this month revealed plans to set up a new biennial competition from 2026. Athletics like swimming and cycling, huge fan base, just very limited opportunities for people to attend events.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Monday, the 24th of June, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.